Thank you, my friend. Good to see you. Let's just adjust this a little bit. There we go. That's better. Good to see you, everybody. And thank you for being part of the Healing Momentum live stream. My name is Michael, and I give the teachings around here on video. And if you're here in the Humboldt County area, giving workshops and coaching. So thank you for watching. Thank you wherever you are. And I appreciate you. Thank you, my friend, for being here. So today I want to talk about something we all deal with when we get stuck into very triggering moments, very intense, difficult moments with difficult people, when we are stuck in a chronic dynamic, a chronic relationship, a chronically traumatizing environment, triggering environment, work, home, a relationship, things of that nature. So I want to talk about getting into receiving mode. So for those of you who have watched some of the videos on my channel, especially the last one that I just put out was about receiving mode and understanding, what that is and how to get into that. Because mirroring as this practice, as this healing communication practice, when you get down to it, it's very basic. It involves good sending and good receiving, good sending and good receiving, so that in our communication, we can find a higher level of creating harmony, understanding, staying grounded in our own peace, not being overwhelmed by moments, not being overwhelmed by chronic situations, and being able to create good energy. That's really what it's all about. It's all about good energy. And we're not really taught this when we're growing up. In childhood, we're adapting to our family environment and the chronic dynamics that have gone down the pike, perhaps for generations, that we inherited, whether we like it or not, and then we kind of absorb into our own system. So mirroring is so powerful because to study and practice the mindfulness of good sending and good receiving empowers us, changes the energy of moments, changes the dynamics of relationships, helps us to heal relationships, help us to feel empowered and feel connected to who we really are, to have good energy between us and the people we love, between us and the people we don't love so much. Mirroring is always happening. I like to say, when you see the videos on the channel, the image of the sun beaming down and being reflected by the pond, the lake below it. The sun is sending and the lake is always receiving. Mirroring is an effect of nature. Mirroring is happening in nature all the time. So it's up to us if we want to create that kind of harmonic energy. I like to call it the energy of sympathy. Sympathy being that feeling like when we're entering the forest and we can sense, I feel lighter. Sympathy being the feeling of connection with someone else, a kind of a quality of understanding of I'm deep, you're deep, we're both different. It's okay. And there's well-being between the two of us. There's harmony between the two of us. I like to name that as sympathy. So today I want to talk about some ideas about receiving mode. It's something that comes up with a lot of my clients. I don't know how to get into receiving mode. I don't really know what receiving mode is. So receiving mode is an extraordinary thing to study and to practice. And in order to understand it better, I'm going to use some passages from the book I wrote, reading time, story time, The Zen of Solo Travel, A Journey from Anxiety to Enlightenment. This is a book that I self-published in 2014. As you hear these passages, if it strikes your interest to get the book, just check the description section. There's a link to get the book right there. So this book, The Zen of Solo Travel, A Journey from Anxiety to Enlightenment, this was written at a time when I was married and when we were considering adoption. Now, I'm divorced. I have 2 adopted kids, but at the time I didn't know. And at the time, I was filled with all kinds of stuff below the surface about staying married, getting divorced, having kids, not having kids, and also all this stuff below the surface, which makes it very hard for me to get into receiving mode because of my family of origin, in particular, dealing with my father, who was mentally ill, who's schizophrenic, who committed suicide when I was in my early 30s. In fact, committed suicide like a couple of years before uh, I wrote this book and took this trip. And so I was filled with all these things that were blocking me from understanding what I really wanted. How many people can relate to that? That you're filled with all kinds of family of origin issues that block you from understanding what's really true for me. What do I really need here? And so it's sort of, I was at a point where all of my issues were blocking me for being in receiving mode, from knowing what was really true for me. Stay or go, have kids or not, who am I, all those things. What I did is I went to Japan. I flew from New York. I was living in New York, where I'm from originally, and took off on a trip by myself as far away as I could, which was Japan, to have a personal awakening, to have an adventure, and to clear all of my emotional stuff and allow myself to achieve a state of receiving mode, taking the risk that I would know what was right for me and what was true through this solo journey in Japan. And so when you take journeys, especially when you go somewhere by yourself and you go far away to the other side of the world, you're going to have all kinds of stuff happen that trigger you. Lost tickets, can't speak the language. Um, what is this thing that is called food? You know, all kinds of things that take you out of your comfort zone, that bring up your issues that you have to get through, even though you're in an adventure, even though you're, on the other side of the world with all this excitement. There's all kinds of things that can happen to you that trigger you into the deep, ugly stuff. And this is the same deep, ugly stuff that happens to us when we're faced with situations like hot, difficult moments with difficult people, the "you're fired" moment, the "I want to break up with you" moment triggers us into the same stuff. And so, what I want to do is take us through a few scenarios where I was triggered really the moment I arrived in Japan. And all I was trying to do, I'd flown 16, 17 hours, and I had a hotel to get to where the curfew was at midnight. And I didn't even know what time it was, but I knew we were approaching midnight, and I didn't know how to get there. And I had all my stuff with me, and I had to find a cab that would get me to my hotel, hopefully get me on time. Now, I'm going to read a passage. And again, the idea behind this passage is to show you a few concepts of when I was triggered into some deep stuff, some ugly stuff on the inside, and to demonstrate to you how I got into receiving mode in those triggering moments. So I had all this baggage with me, literal baggage, and the emotional baggage as well. And I had arrived, and I had found my way through the subways from the airport to downtown Tokyo. And I got out of the subway station, and I needed to find a cab driver. Now, I had read about, there was a kind of notorious way of cab drivers in Tokyo don't always know where they're going, apparently. I don't mean to knock the cab drivers in Tokyo, but that's what I read in the Lonely Planet guide, the travel guide. And then I discovered that for myself there when I needed to get to the hotel. And if I didn't get to the hotel in time after, flying for 17 hours, I was going to be trapped on the street through the whole night on my first night in Japan with all my stuff. And I was really scared and upset and nervous and in my triggers. And when I get into my triggers, I don't know about you, I suffer with childhood complex PTSD. So that means feeling deregulation. My body doesn't feel right. I don't feel safe. I feel a sense of dread, oncoming collapse, all these classic things that happen for people who are suffer with post-traumatic stress disorder, and in my case, the complex version from trauma from childhood. Okay, so let's get into the reading, and then let's get into the ideas behind how to understand receiving mode when I was in those difficult moments, and to use those ideas for you when you get into difficult moments with difficult people. So there I was, okay, there I was in Tokyo, just showing up in Tokyo, okay? And I found a bunch of cab drivers. And again, I didn't speak the language. I was concerned that based on what I had read, that they wouldn't know where to go. I also had read about that addresses in Tokyo are very complicated, and it's not a system that's easy to understand. And so here I was looking for a way to get to my hotel on time and avoid curfew. Okay. As I stand there outside the train station, I see a slew of cab drivers smoking cigarettes, leaning against their cabs. I select a driver who seems helpful enough. Where? He asks in English. Hotel Kamagawa, I instruct him. Kamagawa. It couldn't have been 5 minutes from the station. I show the man a paper with the Asakusa neighborhood address. This puzzles him even more. He shares the page with his cabbie friends, who gather together like a group of yeshiva students racking their brains over a piece of Talmudic literature. What is this? What is this address? Vigorously debating where this mysterious location could be, or whether or not it really exists. 1 second, delays my driver, and a debate amongst his colleagues ensues. So there I was. I got to get to this hotel. I don't want to be staying out all night in my first night, sleeping on the street. That would have been misery. I was already triggered. I came there for healing. I came there for adventure. I came there for understanding. And on my first night, I'm facing this totally unwanted, difficult moment with these guys gathering around in a group looking at this piece of paper back in the day when it was MapQuest and you could print out the address. So they're all standing around in a group looking at this piece of paper, debating it. And time is clicking and time is clicking. And I don't know where I am, what I'm going to do, or am I going to be stuck all night in the street? And I'm absolutely upset and triggered. Okay. So here I'll do a little bit more reading. We'll understand receiving mode. So again, they're standing around. They're debating each other. Ooh, where is this place? Does it exist? Blah, 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 blah. And here I am watching them. Meanwhile, Tokyo attacks my senses. The city expands through the layers of mist and neon. Warm, thick electric charges of urban life abound and surround. Vertical vibrations rise from the streets as the dust-colored sky sinks into the gray night. Hustling humanity moves with metropolitan momentum as a herd of quiet footsteps splish splash over the puddles. Splish splash, splish splash. Now, what's the lesson there? The first thing to get is that receiving mode can happen simply through distraction. That if you're faced with one of these moments of you're fired, I want to break up with you, or the chronic ongoing criticism or the chronic ongoing gaslighting that triggers you and makes you uncomfortable with somebody important to you, you can be distracted. And when you're distracted, you're taken into the larger view of the moment. This is a big part of receiving mode. So while you're here with that difficulty, with the you're fired, I'm breaking up with you, there's something wrong with you, do this because you'll make me feel comfortable if you do things the way I want you to do for me, gaslighting. being distracted just for a moment, I saw Tokyo. I saw the lights. I saw these vertical neon signs. I saw the rain. I saw the neon, and it was mind blowing. And then I realized I wasn't even paying attention to the cab drivers, and I had lost that sense of being triggered and scared. Am I going to make it on time? Am I going to be staying out all night? Because I was amazed and taken in by what? By the larger view around me. I was taken in by Tokyo. I was taken in by that amazement. And it was something I couldn't even help it. It was like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen here, but this is just unbelievable to see. I had never been to Asia before. And here I was in this incredible moment, just having my experience of Tokyo, receiving Tokyo while this was still going on. So in every moment, in every chronic difficulty, in every you're fired, I'm breaking up with you moment, even though in the micro right here where you and I are confronting each other, let's say, or I'm trapped in this moment of unwanted difficulty with you, the larger view is still going on. The larger field of the world is still going on. So while you're sitting there with this person who is breaking up with you, firing you, gaslighting you, any of these things, you in it, but you're also receiving everything else going around you in the environment. The sun shining, the drizzle of rain starting, the clouds spreading out and opening up. There is a larger view happening in every moment, in every small wanted moment, unwanted moment. There's still the larger field happening, and we could take it in. We could take in that larger field while we're in the smaller micro difficulty. And it's not just about what's physically happening, but in the moment of the you're fired and I'm breaking up with you and there's something wrong with you and all those things, there's a larger field happening emotionally. There's a larger field happening in the timeline of your life. Oh, wow, I'm about to lose my job. And this is a hot moment and I'm triggered and I don't know what to do. Well, let me step into a curiosity. Even in the overwhelm of the moment, there's a curiosity that you can connect to and open up to the larger mandala of your life. What does this mean? Where is this all going? How can I see the longer view of this? How can I absorb this field of time and space that is still happening? The journey of my life is happening while I'm in this hot moment that I don't understand, that is taking me into serious difficulty. That's receiving mode. You could be talking to somebody you deal with all the time. Oh, my partner came home in a rage again. I was criticized by my supervisor again. Yes, those things are happening. But receiving mode shifts our consciousness. Receiving mode opens us to, yes, that may be happening, but life, the journey of life is happening. Yes, I may have just gotten fired, and there are all of these larger things that may be happening for me that I don't even know, but they're coming to me right now in this moment of change. So your ability to be in the moment and still receive the larger view of the environment, the larger view of nature, the larger view of energy, and the larger view of the timeline of your life will help you shift out of that negativity, will help you to see, well, maybe there's something else going on. How can I know? If while I'm in it, I'm still seeing the larger view and receiving the larger view. And how do I know I'm receiving the larger view? Because there's a shift in how I feel. So in that moment with those cab drivers, there was absolutely a shift in how I felt because I was completely bedazzled by Tokyo. And so even though there was a trigger and even though in a way, I was filled with dread. That PTSD dread seemed to simmer and opened up to a totally different energy because of what I was receiving from the larger view. So, one powerful way of stepping into receiving mode is to open up to the larger view of what's happening around you and what's happening over time in the journey of your life. Let's go back to the reading and understand a different concept of receiving mode, a different way to approach receiving mode. Make sure I got the right thing here. Hang on one second. Okay, we'll do it here. Okay. So again, the cab drivers are talking. I'm not going to read the whole thing. What ends up happening is I get a cab driver and I get in the car and then he doesn't know where to go. And he keeps stopping. Again, time ticking. I might be late. I might be locked out. I might be on the street. Very intense. So just take that as a metaphor. My situation is a metaphor of like, hey, I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't know if I'm going to get fired. I don't know how this is going to affect my life. This was just a cab ride. You may be going through losing your children. You may be going through losing your job. Who knows what? Big stuff. Same concepts. Okay, so they're talking. They're looking over my MapQuest page with my the address of the Hotel Kamigawa that I stayed at. The novel energy of Tokyo hits me like a waterfall. I am disoriented, lost, overwhelmed, exhausted. I need to focus on something, an idea to hang on, to keep me going, to maintain. Pretend you're in New York, I tell myself. Take on that mindset. A city is a city. Pretend this is New York and you will have credibility, cachet, power. Everything will make sense. Maintain. Step into a New York state of mind and maintain. So what do I mean by maintain, and how does that translate into a difficult moment that you may be faced with in the moment? Well, with mirroring, okay, good sending, good receiving. With mirroring, you want to think about it with receiving this idea of containment, of maintaining. And what do I mean by that? Well, with receiving, one of the things with mirroring and using mirroring with language with interactions, you can mirror somebody back. They're telling you you're fired, and you can say back to them, hey, hang on. Let me make sure I got this. And mirror back their words. So you're saying you're firing me and you're not giving me a reason why you're firing me. Did I get that? Really important words. Let me make sure I understand what you're saying and then check, did I get that? Now, what that is in mirroring back those words of just getting, I don't have, what you're getting is, I don't have to respond. I don't have to react. My triggers are compelling me. Am I supposed to do something? Am I supposed to fight back? Am I shutting down? I am confused by the moment. So if I'm confused by the moment with somebody, with a partner meaning the person in front of you, you can mirror back your partner's words. Let me make sure I got this. Receive their words. So you're saying, oh, you want to break up with me and you're having an affair with my best friend and it's been going on for 6 months. Did I get that? And check for their understanding. Really check. Did I get you right? Is that what you're saying to me? Yes? Good. Now, do I respond? Do I react? You don't have to do anything. By checking for understanding, by mirroring back your partner's words, what happens? You shift the energy and you simply maintain. It's as if you think about, the idea of the eye of the storm or being on a merry-go-round. by mirroring back, by checking for understanding, there's a whole whirlwind coming at you. Everything's changing. She's breaking out with me. He's firing me. There they go again, criticizing me. All these things that you're wrapped up in. So this storm is happening, and it's going to trigger the old family of origin stuff that you have going on. And so you mirror back. You say, let me summarize. Let me make sure I got this. What you said is blank. Did I get that? And when you do that, you're not doing that to solve the situation. You're maintaining, so you change the energy of the situation. You're maintaining how, by not responding, I'm maintaining how I'm giving myself something to focus on. Did I get what you just said? Did I get what you just said? I'm not going to fight back. I'm not going to get reactive. I'm not going to shrink and get smaller. I'm not going to blow up and get bigger. Did I get what you just said? And when you repeat their words back, you become like the eye of the storm in all this energy. That interaction with them allows you to be in that center. You shift everything where you might not know what to do in that moment. So you mirror back and maintain and contain your energy, and you don't explode. And what happens, that interaction of checking for understanding puts you into the eye of the storm. Now you're connected with this person who is bringing you unwanted chaos, criticism, any of it. And by checking for understanding, now there's this sympathetic connection with a person who may not be very sympathetic, but you're creating a sympathetic connection. And in creating that sympathetic connection, you maintain. You are centered. You don't have to overdo it. You don't have to underdo it. You are present. You've interacted. You've created connection. You're hearing their response. And all that energy now can swirl around you rather than erupt inside you. Did I get that? So you're saying you're firing me. So you're saying you had an affair. So you're saying that you don't like that I shave my head or any other kind of criticism. Am I getting that? Thank you. I want to make sure I got that. I'm maintaining. The entire dynamic of energy has shifted. Good. So one more piece about how we can go into receiving mode in these difficult moments. And that's the idea of surrender. That this sort of following through on the larger view, that even in the middle of the micro, this moment right here, small moment right here, big energy, but small moment, there's something much larger going on that you could tune into, that you could be aware of, that you could receive, that gives you calming, soothing, and understanding and seeing, where is this all going, or where do I want my focus to be? We go a little further than that. Then there's an act of faith. There's an understanding of faith. Surrender. Surrender. Nothing good is going to happen from you being in reactive mode. Nothing. The cab driver dropped me off, and he said something like, go right, go left. I had all this stuff. I took way too much stuff to Japan for a brief trip. I'm carrying all my stuff. And he's telling me I'm in this area that was dark, confusing. There was an alley. There were no streets. There were no street signs. It's late. And again, I thought I'm there, but I'm not there. I'm so close, but I can't find it on my own. He sent me out of the cab, and now I've got to wander through this alleyway, and I don't know where I am. Go right, go left, confusion, scared. Once again, I'm going to be stuck on the street all night. Larger view, longer view. Who knows what comes of this? Who knows what comes of this? Hard to see. So I'm stuck in my own PTSD triggers. So now I'm, as if I'm talking to myself, I'm carrying the weight of the world while carrying the weight of my overstuffed baggage. I'm walking in circles down a dark alley. I'm nearly bursting into tears. I'm needing my mommy. Can I help you, sir? Queries a man with the calming concern of an experienced salesman in an upscale shoe store. Can I help you? A man had just appeared out of nowhere. Yes, yes, you can. The gentle and handsome. It was a couple. I explained that. Sorry, I missed that part. It was a couple. It was a man. The man was speaking. He spoke English. So the gentle and handsome twosome, this couple, look at the printout of the hotel and identify the address of my abode, privately negotiating the correct route in Japanese between each other. It is our duty to take you there, says the man. I accept your honorable help. I am of the belief that whenever unwanted things come to us, there's wanted on the way. It's as if you could think about this idea. If you're wanting to make an omelet, you got to crack a few eggs. So if the cracking of the eggs is the unwanted, you might not see the wanted that's still on its way to you and always on its way to you. That's something I believe through experience, through study. It's something that you can learn to accept and on your own. Don't have to buy into me. Think about your own life. But if you have faith, you can begin to see that the good is coming on its way to you. The good is coming on its way to you. So what does that mean? It means you could surrender. You could let go. In this unwanted moment, I let go to my feelings. In this unwanted moment, I let go to not knowing how it's going to work out. In this unwanted moment, all things are possible. And what happened out of grace? This couple shows up. Who knows why they were wandering around close to midnight? Talk to them for half a second and they tell me it is our duty to help you. We are going to wind up getting rescued. It's part of life. We might not see it. We might not believe it in the moment. But that rescue from life, the winds of life, the holiness of life is on its way to work through us. And we're being carried. Again, this is something that you got to really experience. That's why I really believe people should read this book and take solo journeys. Because when you go somewhere by yourself, things are going to break down. Not always, but the bigger the trip you take, the likelier you're going to have things that didn't work out as part of the trip. Your ability to keep it moving and allow yourself to say, life is helping me. Life is with me. I don't have to have the answers. I'm being carried. Then one way or the other, you're going to be surprised at that accidental meeting with someone or the sign that points the way or, just getting some kind of indicator that brings you forward into the wanted that you could not have created by yourself without surrendering. This is a big part of receiving mode, surrendering. So I hear what you're saying. Let me make sure I got it. You're telling me you're breaking up with me, that you've been having an affair. It's terrible. You've been having an affair with my best friend, and you guys are now going to get married. Whoa, that's a lot. And still, I can surrender. I could let go. I can allow this to be happening. I'm not a victim. I'm surrendering to the moment and to the movement. That is the ultimate of receiving mode. It's a very, very powerful thing to try out in your life. Parents, how often do you have to surrender to a child who's tantruming? Couples, this is one thing I don't like about my partner. Surrendering to it. Work, we hired this guy, but he's not working out. He does the job. Surrender to your choice to hire him. Allow this person to be. Surrender is a powerful aspect of receiving mode. And it's not just about surrendering to loss and surrendering to criticism. It's surrendering to the larger flow of where this is all going. When you do that, these pivotal moments, difficult moments, chronic moments will reveal to you a teaching, and the teaching will point to you, this is where this situation is actually going. And if you could let go and surrender and receive it, then you will be opening up to the larger flow of the river of life that is taking you where you're meant to be going. I got to the hotel just in time. I think I got there about 40 minutes before closing. They sent me up to my room. The bed was on the floor. It was all strange and unnerving. I turned on the TV. Everything's in Japanese. I've been flying for 18 hours and dealing with trains from the airport to the train station to the subway station to the cab drivers who were confusing, and I didn't know where I was going to go, to all this PTSD dread, to Japan and Tokyo coming at me, to being stuck on the street with all my stuff. And I surrendered. And when I surrendered, this lovely couple showed up, and the man spoke enough English. Say, it is my duty to help you. Well, my friends, we're coming to a close. It is my duty to help you. I hope you got some benefit from this. If you did, please leave a comment in the comment section and let me know what you learned from this material. Let me offer you a couple of ideas. One, just check the description. Go get the book, The Zen of Solo Travel, at the website, thezenofsolotravel.com. The link is in the description. And if you're interested in working with me, you could try an intro session. The link, this is on to do on Zoom with me. So you could be anywhere in the world and do an intro session with me on Zoom, where we'll practice mirroring. We'll practice these ideas and the things that you're going through, the things that you survived that are still below the surface, that you're dealing with, that you get triggered on the inside, and the confusion or the concern or the unwanted that's going on the outside. Practice of mirroring will get you into a feeling of sympathy, of self-soothing, of connection with a sympathetic person, and a kind of a guidance of where this is all going for you through the practice of mirroring with me will help reveal that. It's very powerful. It's very empowering. And I offer you just an invitation to consider try an intro session with me. And the link for that is in the description. It'll take you to a page on my website, and then you could just fill out the form, send an email to me, I get back to you, and we schedule it. Terrific. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching these videos. Please subscribe to the channel. Like if you enjoyed this and got some value of it, please click like, leave a comment, and subscribe. You guys are the best. Thank you for making this a live and growing and vibrant community of students that it's my duty to serve and help you. Hope to hear from you. Thank you, my friend. Bless you.